Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. We're still on Hinterlands 3. We're still playing very poorly because I'm dumb, but that's okay. That's okay. We do it. We'll perform 3 rites tonight. It was later at night when the darkness made it possible to continue our search. We'd returned to our room at the inn. How's the audio? Okay. And after we'd settled ourselves, the kid had begged me to hurry up with teaching him magic. I'd taken a deep breath, kept my palm pressed firmly against my thigh, and reminded him that we weren't doing shitty parlor tricks. Our supply sat at the bed between us, a sack of coarse salt from the local mine, with a beatific? Okay. I don't know that word. Tapir printed on the side, a box of paper clips, and 2 packs of the second cheapest beer in the store. The second cheapest, you know. Because P doesn't go for the cheapest things, you know. We couldn't be entirely classless, now could we? Let's start with the simplest one. Purification rite. All mythicals are, more or less, vulnerable to. The right term is defilement. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just call it bad energy. It's not really a form of energy, and it isn't necessarily bad if you know what you're doing. But for now, let's go with that. Back on the topic. Anyone can get bad energy by coming in contact with impure things like blood, waste, sexual fluid, and just any kind of filth. Bad energy can disrupt many kinds of rites, and some mythicals are so vulnerable to it that they can get sick if they accrue too much. Lucky for us, there are a number of ways to cleanse ourselves. A good long bath with lots of running water does the trick in most circumstances, but a quicker way for us feathered and furry mythicals is to use salt. The iodized shit they sell at most stores is alright in a pinch, but for the best results, you want a good old halite? Rock salt straight from the earth, or fleur de sal. Just grab a decent handful and sprinkle it over your head, like this. Storm kept a close watch on me as I demonstrated, letting the coarse grains sit on my head feathers and fall to my shoulders. He did the same, looked around the room and then back to me, hoping he did it right. I nodded. I don't feel any different. Yeah, bad energy isn't something most of us can really feel, but cleaning it off's important for rites regardless. Another thing in folklore, people use salt circles to ward off evil, right? It turns out that's a very functional way to shield yourself from some apparitions, but not bad energy from coming in. Take the sack and pour out some salt along the windowsill and in front of the doorway. Storm hopped up to obey, pouring a line along the edge of the door with careful precision. He looked back at me, a bit quizzical. I nodded. With yet more care, he poured a small strip of salt along the windowsill. Again, he looked back at me, like a confused puppy waiting for approval. I nodded. What now? That's it. You just performed your first purification rite. Aren't you proud of yourself? Well, that's lame. I was expecting something cooler, like summoning electricity from my hands or creating light. You gotta earn your keep and know your damn place if you want to learn anything bigger than... I clenched my jaw, took a breath. Don't worry, I still have 2 more rights to teach you. This one's, not flashy either, but it could save your life. He hands me the sack of salt and sat back down on the bed with a huff. Petulant? Oh, okay. Petulant. Okay. Yes. A petulant fucking child. Another breath. As a mythical being, we're vulnerable to more than just bad energy. There's this thing. Some people call it recursion. Others call it karma, or whatever. But it doesn't really need a name. What matters is that this thing makes some patterns repeat. It conspires for the things to happen in certain ways. And sometimes you might be feeling like some dangerous patterns starting up again, or maybe like you're stuck in a rut, going around and round and spiraling out of control. Lucky for us, there's a way to disrupt it. Here, take one of these. I grabbed a handful of paper clips and held it out to him. You probably won't believe this at first, but remember what I said about spirals? What shape is that? A spiral, right? Anyone remember that really, really awful, like, mystery anime from, like, 2002 called Spiral? Legitimately has probably the worst opening theme I've ever heard in my life. It sounds like a cat dying. It's amazing. You should Google it. And what does it? And what does it do? Hold shit together. So, if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you're circling or some dangerous thing that's happened before, just take one of these and break it in your fingers. The more pieces, the better. Then toss them over your left shoulder, and don't look back. It has to be your left, and you can't look to where they fall. They'll leave the You're leaving the old pattern behind with this gesture, and it'll only stick if you follow the right. Storm was clearly trying not to pout out of politeness. If you want, I could give you something to pout about. God damn it, will you stop? He twists the clip as fast as he could, and then tosses the pieces over his shoulder, all the while looking at me like it was some humiliating prank. Fuck, this is so lame. Can't you teach me any fun rights? Oh, you have no idea what I have in store for you. Oh. Well, what kind of right do you want? Like pre-preparation of right? I like that card. It's pretty good. I liked it in Vendrids. What a fun deck. That was never good outside of like Duel Links. But I don't play Duel Links, so I didn't get to see that. I shouldn't have like put bread in my mouth. Like, I don't know. Oh boy, can't wait. I promise. This'll be the best one yet. You're gonna love it. With one hand, I pulled up some music on my phone. With the other, I pulled out two cans from the six-pack. How old are you again? 21. Here then. I toss him his can and crack mine open, then exhale and shut my eyes to gather my thoughts, waiting for him to ask a question, or at least open his beer. Unruly fucking kid. Has no clue what kind of danger we could get into if we fall down a spiral of recursion. I hope I'm saying this right. Recursion? Yeah. And he thinks he deserves to learn the fun rights. If I teach him anything special, he'll definitely just use it to steal my wallet for real. Hell, I've been going easy on him. If I was my dad, if it was my dad, he was sassing like that, he'd have learned real goddamn quick to keep his head down and shut his mouth. Maybe I should breathe in peace. Settle down. Boss, what are we doing? I shook away all those thoughts. What does it look like? We're having beer, while we do, you and I are gonna have a little talk about what being a mythical is like. Is that even a right? Yep. You might not recall, but that charm of yours needs to be powered up a bit more. And we do that with some good old alcohol and talking. Thankfully, we only need a fire to catch your charm, and not to strengthen it. Storm stared down at his can. His gauged ear flicked until he pacified it with a caress. That's what it is. Does he even realize that thing carries a piece of me? By the way, you need to keep that thing clean, you hear? Every day you have to wash it with running water and soap, and it has to be running water. They call it living water in the Bible for some reason. If you're in a hurry, you can also use alcohol, as long as it's not hand sanitizer. That's leave some gunk behind. But do that every day and purify yourself and your charm with salt at least 3 times a week, and you should be right as rain. It's no different from washing your dick, except for the salt, of course. What, you don't use salt? I took a swig of my beer and let out a grunt while the inside of his ears turned red. It took him another few seconds, but at last he opened his beer with a bit of a smile and took his first sip, all in one motion. Guess I'm on board with shooting the shit for a while. Attaboy. What do you say we get to it then, huh? Guess I gotta think up some conversation topics. Well, So that's how we started, with Storm getting the very basics out of the way first. That's, what's it like living in the capital? How's the weather there? Then he asked me how many other mythics I know, how many there are, or what kinds would one expect to find in the area. Didn't take too long for him to lose his shyness and get down to the real questions. Like, if I'm with someone in that way and, say, they put their hand on my horns, would they feel that? The charms affects their perception and cognition. If they were to grab your horns, they wouldn't notice it. It doesn't change who you are, just what they see, feel, and remember. Weird. Wouldn't it be easier to just change your body? Couldn't do stuff like that with magic. Nah, that's much harder. There's no rite that can do something like that. I only know about gods and heroes of legend shapeshifting. But those aren't around anymore. And, gosh, I can't believe I'm asking this. What's it like during, I'll admit, it was fun to let him squirm. He looked away, cheeks flushed enough to see through his black fur. I leaned back and laughed again, downing my beer. You know what I mean, you cunt! Sorry, I'm afraid I don't. You're just pretending to be stupid. Oh, you're calling your boss stupid now, kid. What, after I went through all the trouble of pulling you out of that cave and teaching you how to look human? No, sir. Sorry, sir. That's better. Now, like an adult, say what's on your mind. I just want to know what's it like during, sex. I couldn't hold back another laugh, and to my dismay, it came out far too bird-like for my taste. It was nice, though, that the kid didn't seem to find it odd. The same principle applies. They'll see and feel you as human, even if they, should notice otherwise. If they touch your fur, it'll feel like skin. If they kiss you, they'll just think your mouth is a human one. They won't hear your hooves, nor will they notice your tail. If you get too far from your charm, oh, They'll see every damn thing. That's why it's always good to have more than one on you. Every once in a while, you might find a human who's open-minded enough to know the truth, but it's best not to share too often. So, as you can guess, dating a human can be difficult. If you're gay, it's a bit better. At least it's easier just to hook up. Okay. Excuse me, gay? Yeah, did I stutter? You're gay? Guilty as charged. That a problem? No, sir. Just surprised at a guy like you. I mean, you don't act like one is all. Well, you got those horns and hooves of yours, but I don't see you eating grass. He ducked his head like I just reached over and smacked him across the mouth. I'm sorry. God fucking damn me. Oh, why is P so great? Nah, I should apologize. I kinda killed the mood, didn't I? No, it's just, I wasn't expecting it at all. I really, don't have an issue with it, sir. If anything, I think being gay is cool. Oh my god, one of those. Okay. Cool. God damn it, Storm, you're killing me here. Hey, it's true. Look, we don't got much around here, but I've seen some movies and I don't know. There were some gay people in them, and I thought it was cool. Alright. I'd much rather be gay and live somewhere nice than be straight around these parts. You're cool, is what I'm saying. And I'm glad you're gay. I tried. Believe me when I say I tried not to laugh again. Gay, don't laugh at me. I'm serious here. God, you're killing me. If you don't stop laughing, I'll be, killing you alright. Sure, try me. Give me a good fucking reason to, make you regret it. And when I'm done, you can cry like a bitch, like the bitch you are, and beg to do anything I want. Anything for me to forgive you. Okay, I'm stopping. Goddamn, I needed that. Look, it's just... Sure, keep believing being gay is stylish and cool, you sweet naive child. It's charming. I just hope you never learn about dating apps. Well, you piece of shit. Now you have to tell me what those are. Nah, you're better off not knowing. Spill it. I want you to, wait, I know you want to. Okay, so, and nowadays you can just run a program on your phone and meet folks. You create a profile for yourself, then you'll see everyone else around you who made one too. See who's nearby, send messages and stuff. Gays use those to hook up. If you can host, live in a busy area and know what you're doing, you can get someone to suck your dick in no time. The kid almost looked like he didn't believe me at first, but the longer he seemed to think about it, the bigger his grin became. I bet I could score a ton with those dating apps, at least now that I look human. Sure, after you lose a kilo or 12. Damn, that was mean. I'm just messing with you, kid. Don't take it so seriously. It's okay. He sat aside his half-full beer can. Yes. Actually, think it's about time I went to bed. I ain't like you. I need to sleep and all that. Of course. I always forget. What is it they say again? Good night. Yeah, that's what people say.
Good night to you too, boss.
While Storm drifted to dreamland, I spent a few hours trying to summon up another vision of the dark chamber with the crystal, but I just couldn't get a grip on it. I'd get the occasional flash of movement, but that might just have been me seeing things. It didn't help that the beer seemed to have gone away through me. The more I focused, the more I felt the need to take a leak. It's about 3 a.m. when I gave up. I stood careful not to wake up Storm. One would think a guy of this size would snore like a goddamn chainsaw, but he slept like a baby. When I glanced the other way, I saw movement in the light coming from under the curtains. I drew one back in the panels to get a better look. On the line of assault Storm had put down, a handful of flies were buzzing around, walking over it, even eating the grains. Weird. Salt was supposed to ward off that sort of defilement. I don't know what the hell to make of the sight. I licked a fingertip to wet it, placed it on the hopefully less fly-touched part of the line, then touched it to my tongue. It tastes like nothing. The inn's restaurant was the size of a cramped living room. Its tables were covered by a thick, transparent plastic, marred with scratches, cigarette butts, and far more than a single year's worth of unknown gunk. Every other one was decorated with a half-filled ashtray. Some of the butts so old that they crumbled and released their dust at the slightest breeze. From the kitchen, came the grumbling of something being boiled, along with the unmistakable, essentially hinterlandish smell of burnt coffee. I could already taste the diabetes inducing amount of sugar required to hide the flavor. A real local color. Storm and I had arrived at our usual time, but that day, none of the usual luxuries of our continental breakfast was served to us. No pungent cheese, slimy ham, hollow bread, and a bottle of butter of the land. Just the burnt coffee in the kitchen and a more inviting glass of instant coffee powder. Storm and I sat and waited, but that kid was restless, tapping away at his thighs like a set of drums.
Hey, have you got any music on your phone? Aside from, like, the jazz music you play while driving.
Just those. But here, if the Wi-Fi holds up long enough, you can download some songs via this app. Just don't pick anything that's too much of an earworm. While Storm tapped and swiped away, I got up and to ask the reception why there was no food. He wasn't at the front door, nor the back room, so I checked the kitchen. Okay. And there he was, laid out on the floor with a tuna sandwich in his hand, half conscious and high off his mind. I crouched down to his level when I spoke. You alright? He took one look at me with blurry, droopy eyes, and responded with a slurred I don't know. I put in my best effort to establish an intellectual exchange, but he was unwilling to engage with me. Trying to sit him up at all just made him push me away. Despite his sorry position in the middle of the room, the fellow seemed perfectly content with his current predicament and unwelcoming my interference. Well, fine, bitch. I'm helping you out of spite now. First thing I did was heft him onto his side. At least he didn't struggle against that, or maybe he was just more out of it with each passing second. After that, I shut off the stove. Idiot had turned it on for a blast, and the coffee had congealed into a single syrup. Wait, a singed? Syrup in the pot. Shut the fridge door. He stirred at its angry whining as it tried to fill back up with cold air. Okay. And brought the poor bastard a cup of water. That's when I noticed his breathing getting shallow. I sighed. God damn it, if he dies, I'll waste the whole fucking day explaining this mess. I held back my disgust while I reached into my pocket, a single bundle of papers and his cell phone. No emergency service there, so I don't know who the hell to call. But it would seem my semi-conscious new friend never had to sit through a cybersecurity analyst. Wait, analyst? Yes. Talking on and on about secure passwords and two-factor authentication, which is to say he didn't use a lock screen. And his wallpaper was a screen cap of a porn flick, watermarks and all. None of his contacts seemed to be the right person to call. He hasn't messaged or replied to any of them for a number of days. Shuffling through the papers, I pull out his phone. I found a number that was circled a few times, better than one of the 8. And Marius? I got up and called. Hello. Do you know, I kneeled over and read his name tag. Zezino? Your brother. Well, he's in a real bad spot over at the end, and could probably use a hand. You can come now? Fantastic. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a hurry myself, so... She hung up. Sensible enough. Her brother was still breathing, sometimes mumbling. I left him to nap and went back out to the dining room area, whatever.
So, we getting any food?
Nope. Coffee's burnt and the receptionist's burnt out. He's high as a goddamn kite and having a bad trip or some shit. His sister's on his way though. We'll get some food on the road, but sit tight a while longer. I can prepare us some instant coffee while the guys' rescue comes. That's.
Aye, aye, boss. That gives me just enough time to finish downloading a couple more songs.
Off to the side was the table with a few empty boxes of tea bags and overturned bottles of instant coffee powder. There were only beer glasses locked in a cabinet, a dozen plastic cups, a single proper mug, a featureless and blank, save for the phrase Hail Mary hand-printed on it. I couldn't control myself. I swear drinking from the Hail Mary mug just tasted better. Yeah. Full of grace, indeed. The instant coffee was actually halfway tolerable, to me at least. Storm, on the other hand, almost retched after the first sip from his plastic cup.
This tastes like ass.
How would you know? I don't blame you. I don't know. It tastes fine to me. Amazing. A nun slammed the front door and came stomping in. I pointed her towards the kitchen, and on she went. With that, hopefully sorted, I returned to my coffee. Plus, ass tastes much better.
Oh, fuck off. I actually had something I wanted to show you. I downloaded a song I really like, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. I got space on my hard drive for it. Now let's not waste any more time. We have an actually decent hotel to hunt.
Oh, we checking out of here.
I knocked on one of Storm's horns with a knuckle. Nah, I'm talking about the magic Minotaur one. Let's go. Oh, okay. I'll end the part here, actually. I'll see you around, everyone.